Well, hello there. I just want to make a quick video. I won't keep you for long. And as the title suggests, I'm going to put it to everyone that we are at one of the biggest crossroads humanity's ever been at in a while. At least since like World War II. And so obviously on the screw tube, I can't say certain things, or I'll get my video flagged. Thankful for platforms like BitChute with no censorship or whatnot. Same with Odyssey and Rumble. But yeah, what am I talking about exactly? Well, this, which again, like I says, on certain social media platforms, if you speak about this stuff, you'll be unpersoned faster than you can write your name. And yeah, so all I could suggest is just people Google this stuff if you've never looked into it yourself. Because this was never about the Plandemic. This was about seeing how far they could push us before people would push back. And so 4 years almost into this madness, here we are at a crossroads, standing at the intersection of Corona and Corona. And nobody seems to notice. Nobody seems to care. I'm still baffled when I see people wandering around or alone in their car with a mask on. I'm certain that somewhere out there right now is someone showering with a mask on. And yeah, all I can see is like the predictive programming. Like this old movie called Falling Down. Old movie. And there they are at the corner of Corona and Corona. Hence the title of my video. But most people, they don't want to talk about this because then they'd have to admit that the system doesn't have their best interest at heart. The beast system. Like, ooh, big stretch of the imagination that the beast system doesn't have your best interest at heart. Like, predictive programming is everywhere. Like even this from the old Addams Family movie. I never really watched these movies, but the reference is clear. These things are all over the place, the predictive programming and the hiding in plain sight. Like even in the Terminator 2 movie, the Beware 9/11 on the bridge. Or in the original Matrix movie, Neo's passport in the interrogation scene. It clearly expires September 11th, 2001. Yeah, that's not weird or anything. And so pause this, read it at your own speed. But beyond the whole Plandemic to cover up the dollar collapse or just to create chaos, to drive everyone bonkers so that they're screaming for a solution, screaming for a savior. That's what problem reaction solution's all about, right? They create this crazy situation, watch everybody freak out, they feed off the fear, and then they offer up some bogus solution. And like I was saying here to and as I was saying here to one of the guys who commented on my post, that he says it's crazy to think they've been working on these plans for decades. 50 years? 100 years? Like, how far into this are we? Have we ever been free? And then I think he means are the same powers in control every generation, every lifetime? And yeah, it's like, I think a lot of these people that run the world, so to speak, are so enslaved by their lusts and their sins and their appetites that they're just puppeted by demons. So say you got a 500-year stretch where the enemy, the devil, every now and then he gets one guy to do something so the chain of events lines up, And then the rest of the time, his servants, as it were, drowned in their lust because it doesn't look coordinated. It doesn't look cohesive. They all look like a bunch of morons who couldn't steer a ship, much less steer a ship for this long. But these institutions exist. Going back to the Tavistock Institute, like the 70s music revolution, all that, the Beatles, everything, it was all engineered. And you can either believe it or not. I don't really care at this point. I just think it's weird that here we are at the corner of Corona and Corona, and the old movie Falling Down predicted it. I mean, the movie itself is about a military contractor who loses his mind because his life is falling apart, and he just goes on a kill-crazy rampage across LA, I think, and Robert Duvall has to catch him. And I guess it's just an indictment of how everyone's at their wits' end. It's a symbol of exhaustion and everything falling apart, and the system that you put so much of your faith in betraying you. And like this guy in this movie, coming to realize that he's the bad guy, some pills are hard to swallow. So I guess I just pray for people to wake up to all this predictive programming, what people call psyops, Plandemics, or even this. Looking back at the last 4 years, I went back and watched one stream from like 3 years ago, albeit back then I was still obsessed with that whole cloning center topic. I still don't know what to make of the dream time, but whatever. I look back on that and I just shake my head, since obviously, like, I mean, I look back and everything changed. This, whether you want to see it for what it is, or whether you are completely enslaved and enthralled by the fear of it, it changed the human paradigm, and it did it in a heartbeat. That's why I suggest everybody look into this topic here, germ theory versus terrain theory. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, what are you going to do? You can either try to break away from society or just endure or whatever. I don't know. I'm just thankful I don't live in a city. So yeah, I guess that's all I got to say about that. Try not to get stuck on the corner of Corona and Corona. And that's all I got to say about that. So peace out, baby.